Geologists have a weird relationship with time. Now, to anyone else, a million years is an unimaginably massive number. But to a geologist like me, it is a tiny blip on a calendar. Human history is incredibly fleeting compared to the age of the planet. When we look at the rocks across California, we're looking at billions of years of history stacked right on top of each other. The trick is knowing how to sort through it. We do that using stratigraphy, which is basically the study and description of layered rocks to figure out the history of our planet. It is a massive cosmic detective story, and the rules to solve it are actually hidden in plain sight. Hi everyone, welcome to chapter 3. And today we're talking about dating California, which is all about figuring out how these old landscapes actually are. Now, when you look at a cliffside along a California highway, it can look completely chaotic. Layers are tilted, broken, or of different colors. But geologists have two main ways to crack the code: relative age and numerical age. Think of relative age as figuring out the order of events. You do not know the exact year something happened. You know this specific rock layer is older than that one. Numerical age is when we get the actual numbers, like knowing a rock is exactly 80 million years old. To get relative age, we use a few basic principles that were figured out back in the 1600s by a scientist named Nicholas Steno. And honestly, the easiest way to understand his main rule is to just look at my desk right now. Look at this stack of papers on my desk. If I have been tossing mail and assignments here for months without cleaning it, the oldest papers are naturally at the very bottom of the pile. The newest stuff I just dropped here today is sitting right on top. In geology, we call this the principle of superposition. In any undisturbed sequence of rocks, the oldest layers are at the bottom and the youngest are at the top. It sounds incredibly obvious, but it is the foundation of everything. Steno also pointed out the principle of original horizontality. Sediments like sand or mud are naturally laid down flat because of gravity. So if you are driving down California Highway 14 and you see rock layers tilted at a crazy angle, you know they did not start out that way. They were laid down flat first, and then some massive tectonic force pushed and tilted them later. Then there is original continuity. If a river carves a deep canyon right through a valley, you can still match up layer A and layer B on opposite sides of the cliff. You know those layers used to be completely connected before the water cut through them. Alright, so there is one more relative dating tool you need to know, and it is called cross-cutting relationships. The rule here is that whatever does the cutting has to be younger than the thing getting cut. So this rock would be younger than the rock it's cutting. Imagine you have a cake and you slice a knife right through the middle. The cake had to exist first before you could cut it, right? In California, we see this all the time with faults and volcanic activity. If a line of molten magma punches its way up through older sedimentary rocks, that volcanic intrusion is 100% younger than the layers it just burned through. The same goes for an earthquake fault line. If a fault snaps a rock unit in half, the fault is the younger event. But here is where things get messy. The rock record is not a perfect book. Sometimes entire pages are ripped out. Whenever rocks get pushed up, exposed to the elements and eroded away, we lose time. When new sediment eventually drops on top of that old eroded surface, it creates a gap in the geologic record. We call these gaps unconformities, and they represent millions of missing years. We classify them into three main types based on what is happening above and below the gap. An angular unconformity happens when older rocks are tilted and eroded flat before new horizontal layers are dumped on top. A nonconformity happens when sedimentary rocks sit directly on top of much older metamorphic or igneous rocks. And a disconformity is the subtlest one, where layers are parallel but there is a hidden time gap caused by erosion between them. You can see a world-class angular unconformity right off Highway 14 here in California. There is an 11 million year time gap between the old tilted mint canyon sandstones and the younger flat gravels of the Sugos Formation sitting right on top of them. Think about that. You can put your hand on a single cliff line and touch a gap where 11 million years of history just vanished. Relative dating lets us build the master calendar of Earth history, the geologic time scale. We break this calendar down into massive blocks called eons, which split into eras, periods, and tiny epochs. But how do we put actual numbers on this map? How do we know the exact age of a volcanic rock layer? That is where geochronology and numerical dating come in. We use natural radioactive clocks built inside the minerals themselves. Elements like uranium, potassium, and carbon are unstable. Over time, they decay into stable daughter elements at a perfectly predictable, steady rate. Now, you might wonder, how do we actually read a chemical clock that has been ticking for 80 million years? It all comes down to a term you've probably heard in sci-fi movies: a half-life. A half-life is simply the exact amount of time it takes for half of the unstable parent atoms in a rock to decay into stable daughter atoms. Think of it like a giant piles of coins. Imagine you start with 1,000 coins, and in every hour you flip all of them and throw away any that land on tails. After the first hour, you will have about 500 left. After the second hour, 250. In geology, the clock resets to zero the moment magma cools into solid rock and locks those parent atoms inside. If we find a mineral crystal today and see that exactly half of its original potassium has turned into argon, we know exactly one half-life has passed. Since we already know the steady chemistry rate of potassium, we can calculate the exact age of that rock. So, when you are looking at the geology of California from here on out, try to remember that you are looking at a giant puzzle. Use Steno's rules. Look for the oldest layer at the bottom. Look for lines cutting through other lines to see what happened last. Look for those wavy, irregular unconformity lines where old landscapes were completely chewed up by erosion before the next chapter started printing. Once you get the hang of it, you stop seeing just a wall of dirt and stone. You start seeing a calendar. Make sure to jump into the discussion board this week. Tackle the reading on radioactive decay rates, and I will see you all in the next lecture. Keep looking at the ground.